Welcome to another episode of Last Week's Comics Today. Some serious ups and downs this week. I will get to all of that. We're going to start with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Alpha. So this is the start, I'm going to say, of Jason Aaron taking over the Ninja Turtles with a little bit of Tom Waltz involved, catching up with Old Hob. So, two writers, two art teams. Aaron down here writing Donatello, Tom Waltz writing Old Hob and this mutant spider, and it's certainly a slower story than Aaron's, but I'm a huge fan of Old Hob. I've been trying to make a custom of him for a while, and in this issue I'm looking at the McFarlane Grifter like, I just need a cat head and some cat hands. Grifter. Anyway. Also this week, there were 6 lettered preview pages for Ninja Turtles issue 1 with Jason Aaron, and it features Raphael in jail, and he's wearing a mask, and that's one of the sticking points. I'm like, why is he still wearing a mask in prison? Sorry. I learned, I think it was a couple of years ago, the difference between jail and prison. I had never known before. I thought they were interchangeable words, and they're not. There's a difference. So Raphael is in prison, and that turned me off, and then this additionally turned me off. And so what I have been looking forward to for a while, I just canceled last night or this morning my pull for Ninja Turtles issue 1. I don't want to read it anymore. And this comes a week after I was talking about possibly reading a Namor because Jason Aaron's ending for Once Upon a Time at the End of the World was so brilliant. That series was great. And now I'm just like, nope, I'm out. I don't want to read depressed. I mean, that's one of the reasons I stopped reading what was the follow-up Last Ronin series. Depressed, sad sack Mikey walking around Japan. I'm like, this is not what I want. See, doesn't that's basically Grifter's body. Just need a cat head and some paw hands. Anyway, what's going on with Donatello? Why this starts? He's basically in a zoo being... People are paying to fight him. Oh, staging. There's a broom there. So, there are mutants locked up by these people. I assume it's a larger organization. And this guy paid money to fight Donatello. To fight, really, a mutant. And Donatello volunteers. And it's just... it's terrible. This is not Ninja Turtles that I want. I don't want Raphael in jail. They do check in over here with Jenica for like 2 pages. I mean, it's nice that they at least acknowledge her in Jason Aaron's version of Ninja Turtles, because so far I think she's gone unmentioned this whole time. But this is not what I want. And I was complaining when I was reading the most recent Guardians of the Galaxy series, and how it just starts and things are terrible, and like the team is broken up and half of it's not there. And I was saying at that point that I don't like when new writers come on and it's a completely new status quo, and then they dribble out facts over the next like 6 months over the first arc to like, how did we get here? And just fucking show it. Damn it. I hate the dribble out of information. It's like pulling teeth. Anyway, no. Just no to all of this. No. Conversely, Falling in Love on the Path to Hell. Preview pages for this came out a couple of weeks ago. Jerry Dugan I sometimes like, and sometimes I'm sort of indifferent, so I wasn't sure, and the preview pages didn't convince me. I did not have this on a pull list, but I figured while in the comic shop I was going to flip through it. That poor guy's head. And here's what happened. So I'm flipping through. There's Western stuff, there is Japan stuff, and I honestly don't remember what the preview pages were. It should have the Japan stuff here is a phenomenal read. It's amazing. But I'm flipping through, I'm flipping quickly, at the comic shop, and I land on this initially, and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And then I get to this, and I'm like, all right, you're going to show me this? I'm going to buy this book. I don't know what else is happening, but I need to own this immediately. So there's these two, right? And it's the late 1800s. They both die. They wind up somewhere else. That's what all of the fuchsia fog cloud stuff was. And we see what leads to their death. That's what all these opening pages are, and it's pretty fantastic. And then there's a new status quo by the end of it. And where they are has these monsters. It also has all of this going on, called the Corpse Tide, which is pretty horrifying and also awesome name, Corpse Tide. Anyway, yes, this is awesome. It surprised the hell out of me because I wasn't sure about it. I wasn't really looking forward to it, and then flipping through it at the comic shop, I needed it in my hands. I needed to read it, and then it's phenomenal. It's already on my pull list. This is great. Recommended. I thought it was a miniseries, like 5-issue series, and here at the back he calls it an ongoing, somewhere in there. He calls it an ongoing, which surprises me because it feels like a finite series. If they are going to be falling in love on the path to hell. But whatever. It's great. You should get it. Cult of the Lamb issue 1. I think this is an adaptation or based on a game or something. I don't remember. This I grabbed because it sounded interesting. I don't know if preview pages were put out, but it sounded interesting. This sacrificial lamb. I hate this guy's face. It's expressionist, how we see him both from the front and side and every angle, and I'm like, I don't want to look at this guy's face. Anyway, so there's a lamb. There's a lamb that gets sacrificed, and then there's sort of a Spawn-style deal where she, I think, gets powers and comes back, and then exacts revenge on really everyone. Really everyone. So it's amusing. It's it's on the cuter side of things, and I ultimately did not care. It looks nice. I would follow these artists on Troy Little, I guess. Whatever he does next, but I didn't care for the story. So if you want something on the more fun side, I mean, look at that face. Why? Anyway, like this is the one good phase where it actually looks like a nose and some eyes and not cancerous growth coming out of their cheek. Anyway, so it's fun, and it looks nice, but I didn't care about the story at all. Milligan is writing a new book. I've enjoyed his work before, and this is a crime story. It's sort of a mystery as well, and I could sense from early on that there was weirdness, and I'm like, I really hope this weirdness gets explained by the end of the issue, or else I might be out, because I don't know if I can sustain a bunch of extra weirdness. And it is explained by the end of it, and I was not happy with the explanation, and I will not be buying any more of this. But there's voiceover narration here at the beginning, talking about a bit about who he is. His name is Will Profane, and already I'm like, that's a weird name. And this lady, her name is Honor Death, or Honor Da'ath. And I'm like, there's definitely something up with these names, because these names are super weird, and there's more weirdness. Like this Hellblazer style, I don't know, it's weird. And it does get explained, and it's basically a Matt Kindt story, and I'm like, there's a reason I don't read Matt Kindt anymore. The art's nice. Much like Cult of the Lamb, the art's nice. I did not care for the story at all, and I will not be getting more of this. But if you are into some extreme level weirdness, then maybe you should try checking this out. Scarlett, issue 1. I wasn't sure about this. This is another one that I don't think was on my pull list, and I grabbed off the rack. The preview pages were okay, and it's sort of these opening pages. It's her coming out of the sea, most likely. And I think it would have been awesome because of this shot, the framing of it. And I had most recently, I saw a snippet of the Daniel Craig Casino Royale. And it would have been awesome if, I mean, he comes out of the ocean wearing nothing but a Speedo, but she's wearing a full wetsuit. And I'm like, oh, I think I know where it's going. And then, nope, full clothes. Anyway, so she goes to a party. My sort of complaint about things up to this point is I don't know why they gave the next series to her. This makes an appearance, which is clearly also on the cover. I didn't know why they were giving her a series when other characters were better established in the Duke and Cobra Commander prior miniseries. And there's a good case. And Kelly Thompson, I don't know if I certainly didn't read Captain Marvel. I don't know if I maybe read some of her Black Widow. But she knows what she's doing. She tells a compelling story, and she does great with the characters. And I will probably get the rest of this. And it sets things up in an interesting way where I don't know what's happening. There's sort of a mystery as far as whose side Jinx is on. And I guess also what's happening. But, yeah, I wasn't sure about this. I grabbed it, and it's good enough for me to keep going. I'll say that. And I'm looking forward to Destro possibly, I think, next week. So we'll see what happens there. But this is good, and I recommend it. You know what else is good? Get Fury. So I loved issue 1, and issue 2 complicates the hell out of a story that was straightforward. It was the military brass sending Frank in to kill, honestly, Nick Fury because Fury was behind enemy lines. He'd been captured, and he knew too much. We get a lot more backstory from this guy, which I think is good. It adds a lot of information to things, and he is funny. But this, all of this, these two guys complicate the hell out of the story. There's now some drug running, there's some money, there's a lot going on. And there's a question of how much Fury knows and when he knew, and there's this brilliant scene with Frank once he is now firmly behind enemy lines. And he's I think they say 6'4" white guy in North Vietnam. And so he pretends to be Russian, and it's brilliant. I'm working my way through Welcome Back Frank, and this is awesome, and I hope to shoot a video on this tomorrow, but it'll be weeks before that goes up. But I'm really enjoying Garth Ennis, Frank, and Jason Burrows gets another chance to draw disgusting things. At some point, there's, here at the back, there's a face shoved into some intestines. Oh my god, it's gross. It's also phenomenal. It's funny, intense, and generally all around awesome, and highly recommended. Bear Pirate Viking Queen issue 2. I was convinced by the final pages of the first issue. The bulk of it, 90% of that first issue, I was confused, and I didn't really want to finish reading it. That was the pirate, really sort of the bear as well, but that was the pirate section of the story. And by the end of it, we were getting some Viking stuff. This is mostly Viking with some Queen thrown at the end, and I believe the final issue will be Queen, and maybe the bear will come back. I don't know what's going on. This is absolute insanity. Here is just a sample of the art. There's a lot of this stuff going on. It's very loose. It's sketchy. The font is at least easier to read this time. But just absolute insane stuff going on. There's magic, so there's some people There's a couple of sisters. One of them is casting magic. There's stories about this guy and hundreds of years passing, and I'm like, is that metaphorical? And seemingly, the answer is no. It's not metaphorical. The stuff is just happening over the course of hundreds of years, and it's not fully explained, but whatever. This is a much better issue than the first. I'm very curious to see where this ends next issue, but just insanity. Absolute insanity. As I said, it is better than the first issue, but the first issue was good enough to get me to buy the second, so if that tells you anything, I don't know. It's only a 3-issue series, so of course I will finish things off, but it's strange. It's odd. That's all I can say. I think lastly we have Minor Threats issue 3. I believe this is a 4-issue series, so things should wrap up next issue. Most of this is told from our lead's mother's perspective. So this is her there, and there's this teen team who goes after her, except she's also a villain, and she leads them on a chase through her apartment building, which is also filled with other villains, and these kids gotta get their ass kicked. It's great. It adds a lot to the characters, to really backstory to the characters that we have been enjoying thus far. But it's great. It's funny. It's sad, and it ends on not quite a twist. It ends kind of with this guy getting his arm just mutilated. But it ends with a panel that I'm not showing. It's devastating, and I look forward to next month when this wraps up. But Minor Threats, highly recommended. Absolutely recommended. And I hope this is a series of miniseries that continues as well. So I know that we're getting Barfly in a couple of months, which is a spin-off. I don't know if it's this full creative team or not. But these two are co-writing, and they are phenomenal together. And then the art is also great. But yes, absolutely recommended as well. Also, there's a new printing of Spider-Man Reign. I guess there's a sequel coming out. I almost called it Volume 2, and I don't know if that's really the case or not. But Spider-Man Reign came out many years ago. Carrie Andrews. I enjoyed the hell out of it, and yet I didn't own it, so I'm not entirely sure how I read it the first time. There was a point in my life where I worked about a block away from a Barnes & Noble, so I would just walk over to Barnes & Noble and then read as if it were a library on my lunch hours. That may be what happened here. I also may have read it digitally at some point many years ago, but I did not own it, and now I do, and I'm happy for that. And I will possibly do a video on this as well at some point, but yeah, very happy to own this. But that is... No, it's not quite. It's not quite everything I got this week, because also this came in the mail, this huge bastard. This is Mike Mignola and Lemony Snicket and Pinocchio. So it's the story of Pinocchio with illustrations from Mignola and then annotations from Lemony Snicket, which are weird and funny. And if you know anything about Lemony Snicket, the guy's pretty great. I have not dug into this yet, but it is gorgeous. And it's absolutely monster. Like, I can't even fully show everything, but it's huge. And it comes in this slipcase, and if you are at all interested in this, it is in solicits. It's in the most recent issue of Previews, coming out in the fall or winter. It might have been solicited for... I know the catalog is for August, but I think this might be out in, like, October, maybe. Anyway, it's in there if you want a copy. And I haven't read it yet, but it's already impressed the hell out of me. I don't know if I will be doing a video on this. If I get the opportunity, then I will. Otherwise, just a general recommendation that it is available if you want your own copy. So that is everything that I got this week. And I haven't thought about pick of the week at all. Let me just get through, I think, all of the best stuff I'm going to say. Pick of the week, I'm going to give it to Falling in Love on the Path to Hell. because this just surprised the hell out of me. Fury and Scarlett are also great. Minor Threats is always great, but because it's a #1, because it surprised the hell out of me, pick of the week goes to Falling in Love on the Path to Hell. And does anyone else, does this cover make anyone else think of Star Wars? Because it does to me. Like, if this is a lightsaber and that's Darth Vader, no? Anyone? Anyway, this is everything that I got this week. I got almost all of it from my local comic shop, but this is available from there in a few months. If you don't know where yours is, you can use this URL to find the one closest to you. Thanks for watching.